You go to the museum, you think, hey, take the kids, have to drag them. I mean, take them to the museum. That's the one thing, unless you have really, fairly smart kids and they're really interested in science, you want to take them to the museum, you want to share some culture, something new. Sometimes some of these museums that have science experiments going on, unless you're in Nevada, which I would strongly recommend you don't, at least in this case, because the museum was doing a tornado demonstration with fire tornadoes, and for some reason, it didn't go off. So it's like, I need to add this extra chemical. And as soon as that extra chemical got added, it exploded and 13 people were injured. This is not something that happens usually at museums. I mean, they usually take great caution to take care of their staff and whatnot. It was a very tragic situation. Fortunately, they were only injured. No one was seriously hurt. Some people had some chemical burns. And it was a routine science experiment, or science demonstration, I should say, and they don't usually have this kind of thing happen. But it's still kind of scary. You're working with chemicals. You got to know what you're doing. You got to be careful. Joe, your thoughts?
Yeah, this isn't Night at the Museum 3. This is Third Degree at the Museum.
Yes.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it sucks. I mean, it sucks that parents took their kids to a science museum and they were doing an experiment for the kids and kids got hurt and had to go to the hospital. That's sad. That's a sad part of the story.
Right.
But, I mean, like you said, it's a pretty common experiment that they usually do. It doesn't usually go wrong. They didn't understand why it was going wrong. They tried to correct it and they had an explosion. So, yeah. I mean, this shit happens.
Yes, unfortunately, yes. They said a routine science demonstration usually didn't happen, usually causing a flash. The discovery is focused on its safety and visitors at this time. More information will be coming soon.
Right.
So we don't... Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I was cutting you off.
Oh, that's...
I mean, if I'm going to cut you off, I'm going to say, they should just stick to the splitting the atom experiments for the kids. Because that's a lot safer. It's just an atom. It's tiny. I recommend the uranium or plutonium atoms. Those are fun to split.
Those no hospital after that.
Yeah.
If you see a flash, look away, close your eyes.
and
duck and cover.
Right, duck and cover.
Duck and cover, right. Yeah.
Right. And make sure you have on the special sunscreen 10 billion on at the time. Otherwise,
all these white shadows on the wall. Oh, that's the last class that was here.
Yeah. I think of them every time I see it.
Joe, your thoughts.
Johnny was jumping.
Right. Johnny was jumping.
I give thoughts now?
Yes, you get to have thoughts.
Those were my thoughts.
Oh, okay. Connie, your thoughts.
Yes, this is the Terry Lee Wells Nevada Discovery Museum, and it's Discovery is a hands-on facility. I get the impression that they are really kind of focused on exciting kids to be curious about science, and that's what I found to be really tragic about this. The video that goes with the link that we'll provide has a mom. Well, actually, she's a mother and she's a aunt. She had brought a bunch of children to this demonstration. Most of the injuries were to faces and hands, and they were burns. She said one of her, with her niece, I think it was hair and face were actually on fire, that they had to be put out.
That's
and
terrible.
None of her kids want to go back. As she was talking to the press, that her one daughter was just clinging to her. She wanted nothing to, they had to go back to their car, and they didn't want to go back into the parking lot. So,
yeah. Well, there's no tornadoes out there, fortunately. They're not doing the demonstration in the parking lot.
The person who had this, failure in the demonstration too has been put on an administrative leave.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a sad situation. I mean, this is not something that happens
chemicals
commonly.
aren't something you play with. I mean, you have to respect them.
Because sometimes someone calls this thing called fire, and fire gets hot really fast.
Let's make a fire tornado.
Yeah.
I've never seen this experiment before, so I'm kind of surprised that they were playing with something like that with children.
I've actually seen video of the experiment where they actually make it's like a little wind tunnel tornado, and they make it completely out of fire. It actually happens in nature too. There are little fire tornadoes during fire season or whatever. The hot air.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when you see, if you see the video that is attached to this, somebody was recording it. Actually, the woman, I think, was talking, was recording it on her phone, and the children are just sitting around on the floor, and the experiment's on like a lab on a table, and there's no block. It's just open.
Mm-hmm.
It's an open room, and I go, oh, I think I can see a design flaw just in how they present this. There should have been some kind of a safety
Shield.
safety wall,
Yeah.
plexi wall or something. So, yeah. Hopefully they'll redesign. I mean, because I would love to see more kids be excited about the science. I'm sure they mean well, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think that I agree with you, Connie. That if they're going to be doing experiments like this, I know they're trying to get them as close to the experiment as possible, so they can say, yeah, this can be done safely. You know, it's like the old days, like, yeah, you don't have to worry about smoking near your car while you're filling up gas, because gas ain't flammable anymore.
Okay, Timmy, you pour that thing into the blender, and I'll get behind this lead shield.
Random chaos for the generals that if it was a magic show, you could split an atom. Anyway, yeah, Joe. Thanks, Joe. The fire in the chat room thing there.
Fire!
Fire!